All right, guys, we are recording. So, hi, everybody. My name is Doug Davis. I am here at the Eden Community Center in Bahia. I'm on here with two of my very close friends, Travis and Kirk. And we are going to have a communication and a conversation today about the things that we are working on and which we are hoping to inspire the community with to work together. Firstly, I will go to Travis Britske. Am I saying Britske correct?
Yes, it is Britske.
Nice. So Travis, if you could just take 1 second to kind of tell us who you are, where you're at, what you're doing, and then I've got a couple more questions for you to answer as well.
Perfect. Yeah, been since university, graduated in 2001, studied sociobiology and the culture of wellness. So really looking at who's happy and healthy and why, and how humans thrive. What social organization they really do best, and came to the conclusion that it was villages where children are raised amongst other children, and mothers gather regularly in circle and share their connection. And it's really the easiest way for people to meet their needs, their basic needs, and then have free time, which is very important. And all this time since then, I've been living in Latin America, working in agroforestry, permaculture, regenerative agroecology, and yeah, really enjoy the daily practice of working in and interacting with food forests. It's a form of abundance that most people have a difficult time imagining. And I'm glad to help them and experience this reality.
Nice. So the topic of today is cooperative society. And so the first question is, why cooperative society?
Yeah, I don't know if you want to do Kirk's introduction first.
I agree. Kirk, same thing for you, man. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Okay, sure. I was born and raised in New Jersey, United States. University degrees, sociology, athletic training, exercise science, diverse health fields, physical therapy down here in Costa Rica. So I tend to look at society and health in depth and see where they meet. That's kind of my personal geek out project. How is societal health achieved, measured, all of that. In this process, I'll just get to what's applicable to this conversation. I founded a foundation called Cooperative Art, Movement, and Play to address actual behaviors in time, real-time behaviors of cooperation, mainly through movement arts that demand people taking a role and living their well for success. Another way to put that is has to do their part, which is kind of a definition of cooperation. As far as this particular conversation that I think we're heading into, building a cooperative society, of course, this was a long-term vision. Looking more at the 10 to 15-year plan timeline seems to be pushed really far ahead right now due to the global situation. So these are all notes and sketches and ideas that are not finished. So I want to be very clear about that. Nothing that I have is a finished concept. It can't possibly be, because we're talking about society and we all need to participate in the building of it and play our own specific roles. Is that good on the background?
Yeah, it's great.
Cool.
You kind of honestly already sort of answered the question of why cooperative society and what that looks like for you as well, which was my questions. And how do we get there from here, which it sounds like was a 10 to 15-year plan for you, but with the global situation you understand has now been sped up quite a bit, which I agree with. I think a lot it has sped up. So maybe turn it back to you for kind of the same concept on the cooperation side.
Yeah, to me, the cooperation is human nature for the most part. Fundamentally, we, as well as nature, is cooperating to live together, to create and maintain healthy ecosystems. Of course, our global culture has diverged from that. But cooperation, I think something key in it is recognizing that my neighbor's wellness impacts my own wellness. And so having clean, fresh food, clean water for my neighbors is every bit as important as having it for myself. And yeah, our destiny is together. And I think that's good for now. I'll expand later.
Okay.
Amen. If I could add a point to that and also maybe clarify a little bit of camp's purpose for existing is you just mentioned it, and it's kind of a reiteration of what you just said, just in some different language, that there are certain things to cooperate. We need a common goal. And so we've distilled what the common goals in that basically every living being on the planet can agree on. And if we can agree on it, then we can work on that. And that is clean air, fresh water, and fertile soil. Every single living being in this planet needs that. And to achieve that, we need the fourth piece, which we're calling cooperation in humanity, but we call symbiosis in biology, right? So there's 4 key elements to us living in harmony, and 4 elements that we can all agree on to create global health. And so we're trying to keep it that simple and bring it back to those 4 points leads to common ground rather than differences, focusing on the differences of opinion on less important issues.
Nice. Agreed. So whenever I talk about cooperative society, cooperation means, to me, at its foundation, it means co-ownership. And when we say co-ownership, we mean equal ownership, which to me equals true equality. So that doesn't mean an organization needs to be ran, but if you look at the historical impact of cooperatives on society, and let's be honest, it was sort of the systems before the current systems, but in modern history, they have jumped in and solved society's problems for themselves with no help from government, with no help from billionaire corporations, but instead they did it on their own. So this manifested itself in several ways, let's say in the United States. And sorry, got lots of dogs. It manifested itself primarily in energy. Rural electric cooperatives brought electricity to 75% of the United States who prior did not have it. When the modern food system of basically poison began, food cooperatives stepped up in the United States, and overnight, or really over about 10 years, but a very short period of time relatively, 3,500 stores stepped up in little towns and became the largest purchaser of all natural food in society. They had more buying power than all the largest competitors, all the large grocery stores, and all of a sudden natural food could be available. Of course, you probably know those food cooperatives worked with local growers to bring in the produce and vegetables, and then the packaged products, as the natural industry evolved, became available. I used to work in this industry as a natural food broker, and I had a couple cooperative clients, and I would regularly go into the cooperative and find the same product for half price that I found in the big store, Whole Foods, one of these guys. And so they have a really history of not only solving society's problems, but being more successful, more sustainable, and just sort of better in every way when the customers own a tiny piece of the system and everyone is considered equal within the system. And so I believe that society, as we make this transition, it's going to happen first in systems, such as what I'm going to show you guys today. It's also going to follow into medical care, into education, into food supply. And then once those foundational pieces are established, it can sort of integrate into all aspects of life. The consumers, we don't have to get permission. We don't have to change laws. We literally just have to make different decisions of who we support, and sort of push that direction as cooperatives show up. And for instance, a credit union, another example, credit union cooperatives, they steal power back from the bank. So cooperatives are a way for citizens to take power back from giant corporations, from governments, from banks, from anything that they want. For me, it has always been what made the most sense to do now. And I've struggled with that for a long time. And I think with the current situation in the world, I think everybody's going to be able to see that is possibly the quickest way to the society that we want to build. Yeah. Is that pretty thorough?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so I would like to talk about, you know, I didn't really talk about myself at all, so let me throw that in there. So I've managed and ran companies before I ever went to school or went to college. I do have a business management degree. I have about 15 years in working with cooperatives in some way or form. I have been for 15 years working on this project really, but 4 years actually building it here in Costa Rica, or in Costa Ballena, with the belief that, I don't know, I don't know why I was doing it. I was sort of on building all this unconsciously. I didn't know what it would come into. I certainly didn't know that the society would hit the moment that it's in now, but I'm glad this work has been done, and I would like to show you guys what I believe is the foundation for us to do it. And so at the basis of the concept, what we need to understand is that we have a model from all the trillion-dollar tech companies of how you develop things that benefit us. And we want to keep all the things that technology has brought us, but at the same time back those systems up in a way that if technology failed to exist, it would be okay. I'm not a person who works in fear or thinks some outcome is going to happen. But I believe the plan for creating a perfect society or the ideal society, and the plan for what you would do if one of the three possible things that's possible could happen now, which is pandemic spreads, financial systems go down, or major ecological disasters occur. I have measured the two plans against one another, and I cannot tell them apart. It's kind of like you could have always done this, but now with the potential where people can see these things as an actual possibility that could affect their lives, the time is now to do it. And what I've tried to do is just build a foundation, as Kirk said, with cooperative society. Again, all of these things that I'm going to show you today are not complete, but I do believe that I have pushed them roughly to the 90% mark. Which means the containers are there, but the curtains and the paint and the roof, you know, just all this stuff that needs to be added has to be done by the community for their buy-in. And I believe that the community or the cooperative system needs to be owned by everyone equally, which means even as the builder, I simply own one share, just like any other member. Does that make sense to you guys?
Yeah, I fully believe in the co-ownership model. I think it's human nature that and that will achieve the result we want if and when people feel that they are the creators and the owners of their destiny and their lives, and to get away from this old hierarchy of the white man says, but to really build a new world where we live in peace and harmony and have our needs met and are inspired and rewarded for our creations fairly.
And I think where it starts is the systems that we all need, we all participate in, we all want to participate in. And just for you guys watching out there, if you're watching this on the recorded video, if you're thinking that your property we're talking about needs to be cooperatively given or something, well, I do think that's the future for many, and it's a conversation we've had, especially for struggling community projects. They may switch their ownership model from a sole owner to shared ownership instead of just having work-away volunteers, something like that. I think that's where it begins in property and stuff like that. I think for those of you who have built a retreat center or a hotel or something like that, we're not talking about trying to take your property away or give it to the community. What we're talking about is cooperative systems that allow you to be the most successful. and sort of give you the tools necessary to participate in the cooperative society as an asset that is available. So maybe you have a farm, you grow trees, you make products, you have the ability to host people, retreats, you know, whatever it is that you have value, we want to give you a way to offer it to the cooperative, and without trying to control your business or something like this. So please don't think that's what the topic is today. So you guys ready to see all the stuff I built?
You know, I have a request, Doug. Actually, my battery, I think my battery is good for another 10, 15 minutes.
So
but
fly through it?
there's yeah, if you fly through it.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So you guys can see the screen with the Costa Ballena directory on it right now, right?
Yes.
I can scroll.
Or scroll over. Nice. So essentially what I did is I took like 20 concepts of websites and crammed them into one, and I ripped off all the best things of all the best modern technology, whether it be Airbnb, Craigslist or Career Builder, your classified section, and I'll go ahead and flip through as I click on it. So like classified ads, if any individual wants to sell something, if a business wants to make a coupon, they can create coupons. This piece is easily the most beneficial piece for us to market our region, both to Europe, the United States, San Jose, anywhere. People love packages and discounts and that kind of thing. And the most important thing is that the directory itself is not created to absorb or commission your traffic like a booking.com or website builder. So we are creating traffic for you. We are giving your own systems more leverage, more impact in the internet, essentially. And so this is a phone book, which allows you to find restaurants, find tours, locate anything by keyword, by thought. The nice thing in this search box up top, you can just type 3 letters. Let's see, what is... Travis, the name of your business up there?
Regenesis 2020.
Are you in there already on the Regenesis 2020 side?
I may have registered. I think I registered like several months back.
Let me just show you a listing for the community center here. So I just typed in at the top box, you can see 3 letters. So the goal is three clicks to get wherever you want in all times. We're not trying to suck you in, trying to addict you, trying to do any of this stuff. But you'll see within this listing, it has the ability to see everything about that business, from coupons they have to videos they've posted, and the videos even play directly within the site. So we're allowing you to not get lost in the world of YouTube, to not get lost in the world of Facebook, when really all you want is local information. If you want to browse, for instance, all the videos from all members of the whole region at once by keyword, by however you want to find it, so you can find experts on permaculture like Travis that have something to offer, by a restaurant, yet all that content is still found from the individuals as well. It's sort of all combined in an interesting way. So this community system is supposed to be community owned and built by the people. So whenever you fill out your profile and you create things, you do this from a dashboard, which is super simple to use. My goal was to make it easy to use for an 85-year-old woman or man who wasn't born with all this technology like we were, who struggles. But maybe they want to hire a gardener. Maybe they want to sell a piece of furniture. Maybe they're an expert on some sort of topic and they'd like to contribute knowledge. It really allows from restaurant menus for restaurants, audio files for DJs and artists. That's a good one to show, which is a new integration that I have worked on. You know, our friend Ronan, who's a great DJ, who I owe the development of this whole thing to because I was rocking out his plant-based track here. And all within the system. I don't have to take you to SoundCloud to get you distracted by all the other stuff, because you could just play with all the artists in Costa Ballena. an interesting piece, and let me kill the sound. An interesting piece is this homepage. So the homepage takes all the newest content from the region, whether it be articles or blogs, whether it be videos that people are recording and posting, coupons they're creating. It shows all the newest content in real time. So this would give you a place, if you have a scrolling addiction, like most of us do, that is not addictive with a true black background, that allows you to see only stuff you care about, only stuff from this region. It's not a world news site. It's a local, what is going on locally now site. So while it, like I said, is not done, I need all of the businesses to post content, to post their events, to create coupons. While a lot of people are, I think we're starting to sort of gain some traction. And these Facebook groups that have overwhelmed us with notifications, when all I really want to do is know about events, I don't want to go to Facebook. I want 3 clicks, events. I don't need notifications about your event. I don't. I just want to know what's going on when I'm looking for something to do, right? So I'll stop there only in the fact that this has some mapping systems. I mean, it has really everything, including one-touch navigation. It really gives you a lot of options to share it on social media with one click without opening the social media. Again, we're trying to break your addictions from those things, but not force you off of them, especially for those that have businesses. Now, I know we're on a time break, guys, so I'm flying through this, but let me show you a few other things. So the directory is not all that I built. In addition, we've built landing pages for the whole region that give each city its own particular kind of feel. If you go to Dominical, if you go to Dominicalito, that tries to capture the sort of feeling of these sites in the region. And again, it is not a traffic control mechanism. We're not trying to absorb your bookings. We're trying to create the region traffic by all working together so that the world recognizes us as one of the leaders in green tourism, in ecological building, and permaculture education, and the things that we believe is the future of Costa Ballena. And so it focuses on different organizations. It's a cooperative media system, whereas people create and want to make content, we can give it leverage for them. And so that has a few aspects to it, but it also integrates into new pages for the Chamber of Commerce. As you guys know, I don't know if I mentioned, but I'm the president of the Chamber of Commerce and Tourism for the region, an organization that was pretty much dead when I got it, and I'm trying to recuperate or to resuscitate, let's say. And my primary goal in that right now is through the technology. And so I've built new systems for the technology for Costa as well. And if you check this stuff out, it highlights the technology in a carousel that allows you to sort of see it all in a simple place. It guides the region as to how we go about it. And the technology really is only the foundation. And yeah, kind of gives us a guide to different community projects, how to be a part of it, how to take part in committees and all that stuff. And then I've gone further, man, like in the recycling system, I've already built all that site stuff too. Granted, photos aren't real and products aren't real, but all this stuff actually exists to some degree. Again, about 90% done. The goal now is to get the community's involvement so that we can kind of finish building it together. What else? This is my original version of it. I think I'll stay off of that. I'm having a little trouble with my controls.
Dougie, that is amazing, an amazing tool you have invested years to build for our community. It's absolutely fantastic as a tool and a connection device. And as I was writing down all the different functions it serves, my God, it is incredibly complete. I just want to be a little bit respectful of Travis and the fact that he may get cut off from the battery. So I don't want to eliminate him from the conversation. And I wonder if he's got anything to say. coming up now.
Wonderful, for sure. And yeah, thank you, Doug. It's a beautiful gem, and as you say, ready for the community to embrace and breathe life into. Um, a wonderful way to balance and integrate technology in a truly beneficial way. So thank you for that.
Thank
And
you.
there's more to more to being able to work together and to effectively cooperate and co-create. And for me and many people here, one of the foundations and the pillars is first the nonviolent communication. So the ability to empathically listen and empathically express oneself, and really hear where each individual is coming from, recognizing that we're all doing our best. We've all been programmed to live in a competitive world where the fear and scarcity are really the norm, the economic system, the news. But that's not our greater reality. That's just the old program. So really supporting one another in being able to work through the process, honoring our intentions to come together and co-create. And so on this base of clear, heart-centered communication, then we work with sociocracy. We've been giving workshops and putting into practice in many different groups. And it's something that very, very simple to adapt. And basically, sociocracy says that whoever is affected by the decision of the group, it has say in the decision.
Stakeholders. Yep.
Has the ability to make an objection. Sociocracy seeks objections, and it sees these objections as gifts. And because the objection will allow us to achieve our goal, our agreed upon goal, with more efficiency, more fun, perhaps a greater reach. So it really takes a lot of the old paradigm, kind of flips it, recognizing the blessings and intentions, that there's space for healing. There's a need for healing, overcoming our difference of perception, and a lot of it comes to do with perceived needs. They're really inflated in there. Like Kirk says, let's really get back and focus on our needs: fresh air, fresh water, healthy living soil. And I would say community is another need that humans have, and that means spending time interacting, co-creating in the material, not just the digital.
Agreed. The digital is to me just a platform. It's like an information technology, right? It's like, how do you get everybody connected? And we're such a geographically spread out region, and the tools of the internet have worked to do the opposite for us. As much as they feel like they're connecting us, they're really working to separate us. So, and again, sort of my position in the thing somehow is the technology side. But for me, once Facebook groups came out, it just got so overwhelming. I think there's 17 Dominical groups right now functioning for a town of 500 people. Like, that's intense. Like, if you think about it, how many groups we're following, how many pages are being created, and how hard it is to reach when there's so many, right? And so to me, creating a system where you could find all that stuff and just literally eject yourself if you want out. I talk to people every day that really are like, man, I just want to get off of Facebook. And you ask them, why don't you? Well, I miss out on stuff. And so that is just kind of my piece of the puzzle to solve, I think. But I 100% agree with everything you're saying. And I know how much work you've done in the sociocracy side of things. And I am totally agree.
Yeah, and I'd like to just wrap up on the sociocracy. That there are many videos that give brief, succinct introductions with images.
Yep.
So I highly recommended people get an introduction to it and begin, if they can, in their groups, practicing. Maybe not all of sociocracy, but whatever pieces they can adapt. It makes meetings fun and efficient and on target. and it's better for our well-being, and the returning of the power to the people who are here living on the lands, and working together and creating. It's very much a decentralized governance, highly adaptable, and yeah, it's the closest thing I think we can get to freedom without it being anarchy, and yeah, still requires this foundation of interpersonal skills and peace and clear communication and listening. That's a good one.
So, and correct me if I'm wrong, but to me, it seems like the structure is a cooperative, is sort of the structure. The sociocracy is the foundational concept of communication within making decisions. Would you say that that's accurate? So in other words, how a group interacts. So if a cooperative has like a council of 12 board members, and then it takes on, let's say, different society, and then is essentially the concept of how you function within the communication between the committees. Is that pretty accurate as far as giving somebody a summary?
Yeah, you asked Kirk. Is that correct?
That's probably you for sociocracy.
Okay. I thought I heard you say Kirk, but okay. Yeah, and Kirk is also schooled in sociocracy, and yeah, that's basically how it works. So when an organization starts, they come together and create their specific, clear vision, and all decisions, all objections, are in direct relation to that, and so from there we go on and then build other circles, other teams who also come up with their specific vision and their purpose for being together and existing, that's supporting the central circle in achieving its mission. That's the way it works. I guess I can add in that, you know, people, okay, so it works with consent as opposed to consensus, which means that there's two definitions. One is the absence of a legitimate, of a recognized objection, and that means that not only the person who objects feels it, but at least one other person in the group feels that there's validity to this objection, and so then we rework the proposal or the plan to see how we can improve upon it. And the other definition for consent, to distinguish it from consensus, is that it's good enough for now and I can live with it. It might not be my first choice, but it will take us to achieve our goal, and I don't have a better proposal at the moment. So we go ahead and continue. If we are all in agreement that we can go ahead and continue.
A nice
If I remember, you said, is it good enough for now?
Yeah,
right, Travis? That's the saying that we come back to. Is this good enough for now?
Right. Will this continue us advancing in the direction that we want to go? And so this allows organizations to be more adaptable and continually change, and if it's necessary and it's recommended, to continually revise the mission statement or the driver, as it's sometimes called, the purpose of our and the intention of our existence together.
Yeah, if you'll permit, this is a perfect takeoff point for where my work has begun.
Fly, brother.
Okay. So yeah, the organization and adaptability within, one of the things in my studies of society and the human body and other biological bodies, any living organism, is that it's alive, right? It's alive. What does alive mean? It means we are in constant adaptation to the reality, to the environment. Organizational structure, as we're used to, is very non-adaptive, very rigid, limits the adaptation. It's self-preserving. So the model that I've been looking towards for many years now, it's originally a Rudolf Steiner concept, is the human organism, the social organism. What does that mean? It looks in many ways from the outside just like an organization. The prime difference is where the direction, where the vision, where the direction of vision is, right? Shoot, I lost my train of thought. Sorry, fellas. The human organism. Damn it. Okay, so
Yes, you don't have video.
another topic. Let's just that thought will come back in. I'm sure it'll flow right into the conversation fluidly. So I see beautiful tools. Doug, you've created a platform. Travis, you have a lot of experience and skills with this other tool of how do we actually make these decisions together. Apart from the social organism vision, there's another tool that I see lacking to actually be able to create a regional harmonic exchange of energy in our present global systems, the structures, which is money. And without getting into, impossible to explain in a short video all of money theory, but what we have is not actually money. What we have are debt notes. That's what we're working with now that we call money. Money represents a natural resource of some sort. It has a value, it has a limited supply, and that supply is knowable. We don't have that in our present, in quotation, money theory. So that actually represents a major leak in our bucket, in our regional bucket, our local bucket, our personal bucket. One that's invisible because it happens at such a large scale and affects us slowly over time, usually in the form of inflation. There are plenty of alternatives. You guys can find infinite documentaries on local currency systems, alternative money systems. They almost always work until they get shut down from above. And I have not yet seen any that, or that's not true. I have seen 2 Bitcoins that do also do the same thing. I'm sorry, that's not the right term for you digital people. What is it? Cryptocurrencies. That value natural resources as the base of their money. On a regional level, this region in particular, since that's where we're working, I would measure that in cubic or square meters of protected land or common land. That's where this whole, I think we can all get on board because we can participate on our own terms. As Doug, you was saying about the retreat center, we're not trying to take it. No, not at all. But if your retreat center is located on 100 acres and you would like to dedicate 50 of those acres to the commons, the nature commons, the entire society, not just human, but the entire society of all living species in this region, then that could create a value that we could then monetize and trade. And as that money gains strength amongst ourselves, there's more impulse to protect more land and conserve more of those special interlinks that actually give resilience to an area. Obviously, there's so many details that go into this. I wouldn't even begin to get into it. And please don't think that just hearing this concept is enough to like, boom, go on it. Not at all. Yet it would be a wonderful baseline if we were to create an exchange system amongst ourselves that would tie in perfectly with a governance system that was shared value and a digital platform which allowed us to communicate. If we also had an exchange platform, a game, if we could all play a trading game together, and in this trading game, the chips actually represent preserved nature. It would have great benefits that if you guys are interested in, we could have a whole nother talk about.
Yeah, it probably is a whole nother talk, but I totally agree. I would much rather, I would feel better about a currency that was backed by natural preserved land than by gold or air, what our currency is backed by now, thought, belief.
And one of the tangible things is it's measurable,
right,
and observable. which is what our money doesn't have, which makes it easily manipulatable. This would not be easily manipulatable. You can actually go and look at it.
Right. So I think in the long term, and you know, maybe not too long term, I think that's hopefully the way it goes with regards to currency. I think we've got to think how. Let's talk about at the moment though what we can do today. And so what I'm sort of proposing is the Costa Ballena Cooperative. Whether we do this under association, whether we make it as part of the Chamber of Commerce's gig, whether we try to simplify our lives and do it as a for-profit private company with shareholders, you know, that's a discussion we can have. But essentially a cooperative, to me, the way it happens is that 500 people put in $500 to create $250,000 fund, which attacks and fixes the aspects of society which are vulnerable. And so for me, these impact society most with regards to healthcare, with regards to transportation, with regards to education, with regards to the imprisonment system. I know Kirk, I don't know if you can talk about that or not with your plan that you did for the alternative prison system or had a part of. But these systems are where it begins. And so how do we move people? I think that answer is putting together a council of respected people and having meetings like this that people can see in for the transparency on what's going. Essentially what I've got in materials, not only in these websites that are built, but what I have is the model for what that cooperation, the cooperative looks like. And there are many ways to take part in it. You can be a shareholder. You could be a monthly contributor, which is gaining value in your share. And I don't want to get too much into it right now, but cooperatives have always solved all problems. And so for me, if society might implode, be it pandemic, financial systems, ecological disasters, and if society is not going to implode, but we want to solve our own problems, there is an identical plan which a cooperation solves. And so that's probably another conversation. It looks like we've lost Travis. But that's like the next meeting I want to have. And I may, Kirk, I don't know, disagree with me here, bud, but I think I might just record a presentation on the way cooperation, if we were to do that, if we were to find 500 businesses and or individuals that are willing to now throw in $500 in order to create the plan to idealize, kind of create ideal society, regardless of whether or not one of the three things looming on us happen or not. Whether it's perfect, everything gets back to normal, pandemic goes away, financial systems recover, everything's perfect. This is the plan that we would do.
Still a good idea.
Our goal. If our goal is to create ideal society, is we want the best education in Costa Rica. We want the best medical care anywhere in the world. We want transportation for everybody who's a citizen, and we want affordable transportation to help create tourism in our region, because this is the #1 cost that tourists faced. They can literally pay more for their rental car than they pay for their hotel for 2 weeks. And so in these things, but we're sort of complaining about, I wish the tourism was more, is what would make tourism more, you know? For instance, a web system that allowed them to not be distracted, to get special deals, to save the commission they're paying to booking.com and save the business owner the commission to Airbnb or booking.com. Like my aspect of the team is to make all those systems so that if you want out, you can go out. And if we work on that system, I'm not kidding you, I think we could literally punch Airbnb down. Like all these major systems would not even show up on the first page of Google unless they paid a ton of money to do so. And in that regard, I feel pretty good about making them pay a ton of money too.
Yeah.
Separate video. I think we'll probably close this one up here pretty soon. But yeah.
Sure. I just would love to clarify one thing, because I do see, and I'm sure if there are people listening, are probably seeing a little bit that there's multiple issues. There's many issues being spoken about at the same time here. And I think it is valid, at least, and useful to focus, or at least acknowledge, when we're speaking about an international global exchange and when we're talking about local and regional exchange, because those are really different strategies for both. If we're trying to create a resilient local regional community, they're going to employ some strategies. And if we're talking about creating a sustainable tourism, which is a leader model in the world, wonderful, yet it's a totally different set of strategies that I believe depends on the first one being in place first. So we cannot actually be a model for ecology and of unity and permaculture tourism if we're not living it. And I think that's where we can focus first, is actually get our own local and regional ducks in a row, and find out how we can exchange with each other, without a currency, without a platform, begin these conversations, these meetings, have these sociocracy topic talks. The transparency, as you said, all incredibly important factors. I so respect your knowledge. I don't have that skill set, so absolutely, Doug, make that presentation. I have no experience running a cooperative. This is all new game to me. I'm working on theory and theories of cooperative behavior, individual psychology, individual behavior. So when it comes to organizational structure, it's certainly not my strong point, and would love a lot of help, just like from Travis and Sergio with their nonviolent communication and sociocracy. That is way better than anything I can come up with. So yes, we need leaders in each of the fields, and we need to be united with common visions, as I think we started this conversation.
Yep. 100% agree, man. You know, as you know, I would love, you have a conversation with Sergio and Sky, and yeah, the team is assembling. I feel like I will make that presentation about the concept of the cooperative. I realize a lot of people think $500, man, if 500 people threw in $500, I think each person could get back 5,000 in value, if not elimination of cost in their life. And so the question is, when do we make that jump to truly work together to minimize the requirement of money in society without minimizing it or trying to take it out? But how do you minimize its necessity? That's the big thing of freeing yourself from it, is minimizing how much you need it. More autonomous that we are as a region and not even needing the government's help, the more they will want us to get to that place as well. And I really recognize and appreciate your contacts and the work that you've done, and I think that's going to be a big part of your role in the system. Yeah, super stoked to have you around, dude.
Yeah, brother, thanks for initiating this. I think it's a great starting point and lots of food for thought for all of us. And yeah, let's for a time. It's right. It's go. It's go for all of us who have been waiting for our time to move. It's time to move. I
agree, sir. I might have lost you. There you go. You still see my screen?
I see you.
Nice. Interesting.
Anyway, and I'd love to add to anyone, if there are people out there listening, anyone wants to reach out to me personally, go ahead. I would love to have these discussions.
Me as well, and let's do this again soon. I'm going to rock out that presentation and try to give everybody an outline, and I am going to do it in a Zoom call too, I think. And then I will put all that stuff on YouTube, as well as this video in the Costa Ballena Directory YouTube channel, and make that public. And yeah, let's touch base again soon, dude.
Perfect. All right. Thank you, brother. And thank you to Travis, even though you can't answer and say thanks back. Peace.